Hey everybody, welcome to Breakfast All Day. That's Christy Lemire.
Hi.
I am Matt Atchity. We are talking about Dora and the Lost City of Gold.
Yes.
And we both saw it.
We did.
We had a double feature that we were supposed to see that same day.
Well, I saw.
You saw.
Nick saw the double feature. You chose to go home.
I chose to go home.
Let's tell that story
Yeah.
real fast.
Yeah.
Let's do.
Yeah, let's do. 5 o'clock screening of Dora, which we will get to in a minute because it's surprisingly good.
It's very fun.
And then a 7 o'clock screening of
Scary stories
to tell in the dark.
They're both at the same theater. They're both
Right.
at the Grove.
Right.
Okay.
So Dora starts right on time, which is a little unusual because screenings typically start 10 to 15 minutes late. No big deal. We're used to it. This one starts right on time. Great. We're going to have plenty of time to get out of this screening, go check into the next one, come back in to the next screening, which we do. And at 7 o'clock, people are still coming in. At 7:10, people are still coming in. 7:20. By 7:30, nothing's happened. Nothing's happened.
And no one said anything to us as to why.
And that's at the point that I'm like, you know what? It's been 30 minutes. I'm out. If someone had said something, sure. But as I'm headed out at 7:30, I wave goodbye to the publicist, and they're like, where are you going? I was like, what, 7:30. You said the movie was going to start at 7. They're like, what? We're about to start. And they kind of got like irked with me. I was like, well, we said 7. You know, and then they tell me, oh, well, there's a special surprise. Guillermo's coming.
That would be Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo
not
del Toro.
Guillermo from Jimmy Kimmel
Right.
Live.
No, Guillermo del Toro is coming to say something before the movie.
He's a producer on this.
Who's a producer
he
on
co-wrote
it.
it.
And I kind of was like, yeah, that's not why I'm here. Like, I love Guillermo del Toro. He's great. But you know what? I came for the movie.
Did you pass Guillermo del Toro in the lobby of the Grove?
No, I didn't see him. I didn't see him. And look, like, my issue was at that point, I'm so irked that I can't watch the movie with a clean slate, right? Like, my limit for waiting for a screening is about 30 minutes. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'm out because I need to see a movie where I'm not really pissed off. So,
but you might have enjoyed yourself so much that it would have erased your pissed offishness.
Maybe. Part of the issue was, 20 minutes. I didn't have time to go to the bar and get a couple of drinks and come back in. Like, if I'd had a couple of cocktails, maybe I would have stayed.
If only we were at the Alamo Draft House where they have service right at your seat. Scary Stories is pretty good, actually. And
maybe we'll get to it next week.
Maybe you can. I'm not going to be here next week, but you all can talk about it.
Okay.
I brought Nick. It was his first real quote-unquote horror movie. He had seen the Goosebumps movies, but this is his first real one, and I don't know, he did okay.
But enough. Let's talk about Dora.
Dora. So do you want to describe it or you want me to describe it?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So this is a live-action, full-length, big-screen version of the long-running Nickelodeon animated series Dora the Explorer. If the idea of a full-length Dora the Explorer movie sounds like absolute torture to you, that makes sense. It makes sense to me, but it's shockingly good because what they are doing here is it's James Bobin and Nicholas Stoller, and they did the last couple of Muppet movies.
Right.
And they ride that same kind of fine line between like making fun of this thing that you love, but not tipping all the way over into like full-on parody or cruelty. Like there's a knowing kind of wink throughout the entirety of this film. Like they know that the premise of Dora is so surreal and so bizarre, and the fact that she has like a talking backpack and a map, and the way things, the fact that her chief nemesis is a fox who wears a bandit's mask. I mean, just everything about the show, which is so insane, especially in a live action form with a teenage Dora.
And somebody acknowledges that. Like this movie, one or two times out and out does break the fourth wall the way the original show does. Early on, there's a moment where and you've seen this in the trailer where she says something is delicioso, and she turns and does the camera take. Can you say delicioso? Young 6-year-old Dora, and her parents are like, who's she talking to? Maybe she'll grow up.
Right. So from the very beginning, you know that you are in like, a very self-aware version of the show. That's my headphone thing. You are the next one.
Sorry, turning my
Can you hear yourself now?
Yes.
Okay. So this is really fun for a long time. And Isabella Moner is doing something that reminded me of like Amy Adams in Enchanted, in that she's this wildly manic kind of innocent, guileless, sweet creature in a harsh world. And no matter what happens, she's got the right answer, and she's probably got a song for the occasion. Like nothing's gonna stop her from being her perky, happy self. But there's a knowingness to the performance as well, which I thought was totally delightful. She is a joy to watch. She's been, you know, a musical theater person for a long time. She's had supporting roles in like the Sicario sequel.
Oh, okay.
She's the daughter who gets kidnapped in Sicario, Day of the Soldado.
Right. And like Sicario, she's reteamed with Benicio del Toro,
There
who
you
is
go.
doing the voice for Swiper.
Yes,
the
I
fox.
didn't realize that. Yeah, there's some good voice work here. And so Dora lives in the Peruvian jungle with her parents, and that's her entire life. And she's brilliant and inquisitive, and she has fun wherever she goes. Her parents are played by Michael Peña and Eva Longoria. He's a zoologist, and she's an archaeologist, or maybe vice versa. Anyway, they are both professors, and they send her to live in Los Angeles while they traipse off on some very dangerous mission to find the lost city of gold. Patapata is what it's called. Yeah. And she wants to go with them, and they won't let her, and they think now's a good time for you to go see what the outside world looks like, because truly she has no actual friends. I mean, she has her talking backpack and Boots. And Boots looks, I think, kind of intentionally a little janky. Like Boots is not like the height of, you know, visual effects wonder.
Right. And you know, there's a moment where early on, you know, at the as they're still kids, don't put boots on the monkey. Monkey, he's a wild animal. Monkeys don't wear boots. But Boots is, you know, maybe the only one that, like, she's the only one that kind of treats Boots as if he's actually aware. Mm-hmm. And the movie rides the line between what's real and what's not. And, you know, yes, it does kind of like riff on her breaking the fourth wall, and maybe she only is the only one, but then there is a fox. Like Swiper is a real character in this, and it's a little like
it's all very strange.
But then somebody asks, like, why would a fox need to wear a mask? Like,
he's the only fox out here in the jungle stealing things. So she goes to LA, and then that sets up a lot of very cute fish out of water scenarios. There's the queen bee at school who finds her intelligence threatening. There's sort of a nerdy dude who finds her intelligence totally charming. And her cousin Diego, played by Jeff Wahlberg. Yes, he is a Wahlberg. He is already there, and he's increasingly mortified by how seemingly weird she is. But she's... Right,
because he's just trying to survive high school, and here comes the weirdest girl in the school who knows him. And you see the other high school kids like, oh, you know, Dorca, right? They call it, like, it captures the, you know, some of the cruelty of high school. But then they all get kidnapped and have to go back down to to Peru.
And that's the problem.
The three other kids and Dora, and then it turns out, oh, look, she can teach them some stuff. You know, look, like, the plot of this movie is not particularly awesome, you know, but there's enough goofiness and the jokes in here that it all kind of works. If you do not like, what's his
Eugenio Derbez. Oh my goodness, no, thank you.
Some people don't really care for him.
I don't.
And he comes in and he's doing his thing, his shtick. And if you don't like that, you're gonna have some issues with this movie. If you don't mind it, it's a lot easier to kind of sit through.
He's like frantic and hammy.
Right.
I'm not a fan.
Right. He comes in and he's this guy who's, oh, I know your parents, and I'm going to help you find them, fellow explorer, and he just does his kind of shtick, and it almost belongs in a different movie. But aside from that, like, this movie works. It works. It's, you know, it's got just enough of a wink, but it's not talking down to its material. It's kind of riffing on it and having fun with it. Acknowledges how silly it is and has a good time. And ultimately, like Dora, the character herself, this movie is so sweet and so, you know, maybe not quite as earnest as the character, but it's so sweet that you're kind of like, oh, okay, it's kind of fun. There's some good laughs in this.
Yeah, it's a celebration of a young woman who is smart and resourceful and fearless and loyal and kind. Like, yeah, you could do worse with role models than Dora. I kind of wish they just stayed in LA the whole time. I kind of wish that Dora had stayed in LA and tried to navigate that whole like anthropological scenario in a great contrast to the one in which she is comfortable. And you know, I think they contrived to get the whole team back out to the jungle in South America.
I mean, if you want to see the foreign girl coming in and looking at high school from an anthropological standpoint, that movie is Mean Girls. Because if you remember, she's from Africa.
That's true.
But yeah, this one's fun. It's it's not genius, but it's fun.
I laughed a lot, and I think expectations. If you're going in there thinking, "Oh, this is going to be terrible," it's not. It's really fun.
And when you finally do hear Boots speak,
oh my God,
it's amazing. Let's not spoil it. But when you hear Boots speak, it is some of the best voice casting you could possibly imagine.
Yes, and I do appreciate too that it stays true to the television show's Latinx roots, right? You know, in the whole cast. Adriana Barraza plays her grandmother. Adriana Barraza plays her grandmother, and so it's a good solid cast. So I'm saying 7. I had a really good time.
I say 6.5. I'm right there with you. It's fun.
6.8 our number. Is at 82% on the tomato meter.
Yeah, so go see this. It's not bad.
Go see Dora, and maybe also go see Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Maybe,
because that's also a movie that's available to you if you like to see movies. That's it for us for film reviews, right? For this week. Next week I am not here. I'm also not here the following week.
Hooray.
But what's next? What's next week? Next week is Brittany runs a marathon, which is very cute. I don't know. What are you all going to talk about next week?
Angry Birds 2.
Angry Birds 2 is next week.
Which they bumped up the release date
to Tuesday.
I am not seeing Angry Birds.
Angry Birds 2 is screening. You all can see it if you choose to.
Maybe I'll make Alonso go.
So there's a lot going on. On Monday, my latest a la carte interview will be out. Is with a guy named James Boyd. I know him as Jim Boyd from college. He is a director, writer, producer, has a production company. He created the No Dance Film Festival at Sundance many years ago.
Next week is 47 Meters Down Uncaged, Blinded by the Light, and Where'd You Go, Bernadette?
Oh yeah, Blinded by the Light's coming out next week.
Oh yeah.
There you go. It's yesterday for Bruce Springsteen.
Right. Maybe we'll get Ben.
Maybe Ben. If you're ever going to see Ben again in your lifetime, is to review the Bruce Springsteen movie.
Maybe so.
So where should everyone find us, Matt?
They can find us on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and all the places that be fast all day. And you can check out our Patreon where Christy and Alonso are recapping Handmaid's Tale, and we've got some news and trailer reviews from time to time. We're not doing any trailers this week, but they'll talk about news. So follow us, please. And the links will be in the clips in the description of this YouTube clip, and you can follow us. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thanks.